Hey guys, it's Tay. How are you doing? Today I'm sitting in my car and I'm sitting at the lake and there's gonna be cars driving in and out, but figured I would just park here because for some reason I enjoy filming in my car. I feel like I'm by myself in here, so I can't really have anybody like bothering me, like the dogs or my fiance. Anyway, and I did get a little haircut. I got a mullet, but I pinned all my bangs back because they were out of control this morning. So I didn't really want to deal with it, but I'm sure I will have another video up soon where I'll show you the full look. I mean, I did post like a short. Is that what they call them here on YouTube? So you can see it in my short, but I think I'd like to style it somehow or like do my makeup too. I don't know. So this video, I wanted to kind of compare my relationship that I'm in right now to the toxic one that I was in for 6 years. And the reason why I want to post this is because I'm hoping that someone will listen to my story and they will begin to realize like those things are also happening to me. And I'll kind of tell you like how I was able to leave and whatnot, but if you are in a toxic relationship with somebody and they are manipulative, they're gaslighting you, they're making you feel stuck, making you feel worse about yourself, anything negative, you are not alone, and there are people out there who will help you, and you can get out. Just be careful because not every situation is the same and not every person is going to react the same way. So I'll share my story and I'll probably just babble on about whatever, but I'm hoping that this will be helpful for at least one person out there in the world. And yeah, so 2012 I started going to college and I was in this class and there was somebody who sat behind me, and that's how we met. That's how I met my ex. He like added me on Facebook and he started like sending me messages, and he was like, I don't know, like it was spring break at the time, and he did like photoshopped his face on different stupid pictures, and he like made one about spring break, his face, and then there's like someone in a swimsuit, like a girl in a swimsuit with his face on it, and it was like happy spring break, but it was like his shitty handwriting, so it was like squeak fugly, and for some reason I thought that was so charming and I thought it was so funny, and I thought that this guy was, I don't know, like I guess I just didn't really know what was to come. And so I remember in the beginning of our relationship, he would there were a lot of red flags, and I didn't see them at the time. Not until later in our relationship is when I really, things were really making sense. But in the beginning, you know, I needed car work, or, oh, I can't talk today. I needed work done on my car, and so it was in the shop, and he was like, here, you can just like use my car until yours is done. And he was able to do this because he didn't have a job at the time. But like, I had even had asked my dad on previous occasions, like, hey, can I use your truck for a week or whatever? And like, my dad wouldn't even let me use this truck. Like, so my ex, he let me like take his car for like a week, and he was filling up the gas even. Like, I don't know, I thought it was just so amazing, and it was the nicest thing. But I realize now that he was see, I make videos and I can't think of the right words that I want to say. So when a narcissist wants to get you in their grasp, they will shower you with gifts, shower you with love. They'll do all these like extra efforts to get you like super excited and reel you in. And that's what he was doing. And I don't know if he was doing it intentionally. I have no idea. But I don't know. Like, I didn't know this was a bad thing until after I started to learn about like narcissistic relationships and toxic relationships and stuff like that. So like, he really wanted to reel me in, and he was really, really willing to do anything. And he didn't have a job at the time, so he had all this time to think of things that he wanted to do. I remember when we were in our relationship, it was like every holiday he would go like over and beyond for like my gifts. And I've always been the type of person that if you ask me like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? I usually will just say like, I don't need anything, because I've just been told that I'm selfish too many times. So now it's just like, I had gotten to the point where it's just like, fine, I'm not selfish if I say I don't want anything. So I was miserable and depressed, and I just anyway, every single time, like, I remember this one time, it was my birthday, and he went out and he got all these different, like, he got this bottle of alcohol that was like Marilyn Monroe or something. He got me this like really cool jewelry box with some jewelry in it. Like, how thoughtful is that? I was like, wow, like, this is so cool. He is the most thoughtful gift giver ever. But then most of the time, if we got into an argument or something, he would make me feel really bad by throwing it in my face that he got me all these things for my birthday, or, you know. And like, when he would get me cool gifts, and if other people were like, oh, what did you get for your birthday, or what did so and so get you for Christmas, they'd always be like, wow, wow, like, that is so cool. You're really lucky. You have such a lucky guy in your life. And they didn't know that it was just like this slimy tactic to like hook me on, and so that it would made it harder to like leave this relationship. So I don't know, like, I had everybody being like, wow, this guy's so great, like, aren't you always so happy? Like, literally, the place that he worked, he had these guys, when he first started working there, he had them thinking that he was like Superman and like the funniest guy in town, and like he's always working, and he's always here, and he's always working overtime, and he doesn't even have to be here, and you know, he's so funny. I bet at home you're just always laughing so hard. And deep down, I did not feel the way that my friends and my family were telling me that I probably felt, you know? I think it just made it so I went even further in a shell, you know? Because if I said, you know, the shitty things that he would do after the fact, they probably wouldn't believe me, you know? He only showed that side of him when nobody else was around. So that was tough. I remember he had both of his parents still living, and I didn't really know the full story, but his mom and dad got divorced. There was an affair involved, and so my ex, I really don't know why, because he didn't get along with his dad either, but he like shunned his mom. And I remember he would always tell me that I needed to block his mom on Facebook. And I was like, why would I block somebody that I don't even know? And he'd be like, oh, she's crazy. And one day, she showed up at my work, and she started talking to me, and it was super weird, and I felt really uncomfortable. And she added me on Facebook after that. And my ex got pissed off because I was questioning him, like, why would I block her? She didn't do anything wrong. And he would just make me feel like complete shit until I blocked her. And yeah, I thought that was really strange. So he didn't have a great relationship with his dad either. It seemed like he really held a lot of resentments towards his parents. And his dad, he had like breathing problems, and he didn't really leave the house much, and he really didn't contribute to like any chores or anything. And so a lot of the times it felt like I was the maid. And my ex, he would like stay at work longer to avoid things at the house. Like, I feel like it was obvious, and he probably would say that he was working. I mean, look, you were at work. He worked at a bar. So, he would always drink while he was at work. Like, that was something that they let him do, and he, like, seriously developed this addiction to drinking. And I really don't know if he had a problem before we met or like the beginning stages of our relationship, because he was so nice to me. But after a while, things just turned downhill, and on the outside we looked fine, but really I felt like he was trying to control me and manipulate me, and he was trying to make it look like he was the best boyfriend ever. But really, like, I would dread going home. Like, I would literally not go home right away because I was miserable. I was extremely suicidal while I was living with him. I remember when the lease on my apartment was up, and I had to find a new place to live, and I think I had been with him for like 2 years at this time. 1 or 2 years. And it made sense to me that we would move in together, right? That was a huge ordeal. I would ask, like, if he would consider moving in with me, and then, because he was helping to take care of his dad, and then he could help his dad out when he needed it, and he, like, was adamant that he couldn't move out of the house. He had to be there with his dad. And that was always super annoying, because it's like, look, you don't even treat your dad nice. So, like, what? He was always putting on this show, And, so yeah, like, I did end up moving in with him after, like, a bunch of fights. I'm sure I couldn't find some place to live with 2 cats. So I moved in, and I'm pretty sure he was super pissed, but I didn't really have anywhere to go. And, yeah, I don't know. It was just, like, a super huge learning lesson, our whole relationship was. But, shoot, I wanted to say something that happened in the beginning of our relationship, but I don't remember what it was. So the most alarming part of this story is probably the next part, so buckle up. So my ex, he was in the Marines for like 5 years, 10 years. I honestly don't remember. But, yeah, so he was in the Marines, and a few years into our maybe like 4 or 5 years into our relationship, he had talked to me about wanting to get his permit. What's it called? He wanted to get a gun, and so he'd have to take classes, and he did. And obviously I figured, I have nothing to worry about because this guy was in the Marines, so he knows like gun safety and everything. And I never really been someone that's been into guns. Like, I dated somebody in high school who let me try to shoot like a long gun, and that was it. Like, it wasn't fun and exciting. I think guns are not cool. I think they're just dumb, honestly. Sure, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but listen to my experience and maybe you'll see why I think that way. So, my back hurts. So, my ex wanted to get his gun license, and I was fine with that. I'm like, whatever you want to do, I really don't care. I'm not the controlling type, in my opinion. Maybe sometimes I can be a little OCD when it comes to like cleaning and stuff, but I don't think that's necessarily me being controlling. But anyway, not really part of the story. So he gets his license, he gets his gun, and he's super excited. And I'm like, cool, good for you, you know. And he started to wear it. You know, your conceal and carry. That's the words I was looking for. So he had it on his hip most of the time. And if he went to work and was planning on drinking, he said he'd put it in the safe. And I asked him why, and he's like, because you're not supposed to have your gun on you when you're drinking. And I thought that made sense, but I also was confused because why did you bring it to the bar? You know, just seems kind of scary thinking about it now, but yeah. So he had his conceal and carry, and he things really got out of control when he was drinking to the point of being blackout, and he would drive home from work, and I would say something about it the next day, and he didn't remember. And, you know, it wasn't a long drive to his house, but he was old enough to know better, and he should have been more responsible. And he just completely like lost control of his drinking. Mondays he would work until like 10 p.m. and he always drank on Mondays. But when I realized that his drinking got to be like so out of control that he was constantly like blackout, I would ask him like, okay, I'm gonna think of one unique word and you have to remember it to tell me tomorrow. And he would have no idea what I was talking about the next day. So Mondays I would go in to his work and hang out with him there. And when it got to be closer to 10, I would tell him like, okay, finish your drink and then we're gonna go home. I'm gonna drive us home because I had to work the next day at 6 a.m. So the reason why I had gone to his work with him is to drive him home. So I would say, all right, finish your drink, and then we can leave. I'd go to the bathroom. He'd fill up another drink. And what he was drinking at the time was Jack Daniels and Coke. And he would do at least half a cup of alcohol and then the other half with soda. So they were really strong drinks. And I mean, they were like the regular glass size at the bar. And I would be so pissed that he had filled up his cup after I just asked him not to. And like, I would even ask the bartenders to help me out, and I would just be like, don't put as much alcohol in there, anything. But he would always notice, and he always went back behind the bar and made his own drinks. So he had to have control of that. So yeah, and there were multiple times where I really wanted to call the police and say, so-and-so is drinking at the bar, and I know that they're gonna drive home. And I definitely could have gotten him in trouble. And a part of me wishes that I did, because I think it would have been a huge eye-opener for him. But whatever, that's just not the way things worked out. So I'm almost to the end of this story, and then I'm going to compare with Corey, my fiance. So my ex, he had this drinking problem. He had a gun in the house now, and he started to leave the gun laying around on the end tables, on the counter. And it got really frightening to see it just laying there, and knowing that he's gonna get super drunk. And he was a happy drunk, but still in the back of my mind it was like anything could happen. So I was extremely afraid. I was miserable in this relationship, and I actually had reconnected with a friend from high school, and she helped me get out of the house. So I reached out to a realtor and a mortgage person, and I was able to find a house that I could afford on my own. So I moved to there with my cats, and ever since then I've been doing like healing and shadow work and all that stuff. And apparently he's doing better now, but I don't know, like, I just really don't want anything to do with him, and I think that's all right. It might be triggering to talk to him, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think it would definitely make me nervous, probably bring me back to those days or something, you know? So, and there were years after I moved out. I moved out in 2018. Sometimes I still worry, because he knows where I live. I'm not stupid. I saw him drive by my house when I first moved in. Part of me is still afraid that, you know, he knows where I live, and he has... Anyway, I'm not going to say that, but it's just good to be aware of stuff instead of not, you know? So, my current relationship that I'm in, I'm just gonna, like, quickly talk about all of the green flags that he has. And, yeah, so my fiance, Corey, we are not married yet, but I think we are going to have like a courthouse, just like a small courthouse thing, because my family sucks and I just think it's too much work to like have a actual wedding. So we have been together since 2019. And so the first thing that comes to mind is my friend, she got married in Vegas in the fall, and I didn't know if I was able to go because my cat needed he needed what's it called, subcutaneous liquid or something. It's where you have to poke your cat's skin with a needle and like basically rehydrate, because my cat had kidney disease or kidney failure or something, and he needed some extra hydration, so you had to do that like twice a day. And not everybody wants to poke cat like that, and I didn't want to, but this cat was my life, so I would have done anything for him, honestly, like anything. So Corey, he was like, it's absolutely no problem. You can go on your trip and I will take care of Walter for you the entire time. And that was super helpful because like most people in my life, I feel they just like aren't willing to help, and it seems like they want you to help them out, but it's too much of a favor to ask if I had something that I needed help with. So it was super refreshing that he did that for me. What else has he done? So when all the Black Lives Matter stuff was happening, I was really curious about it, and I didn't really know who else to talk to about it. So I talked to Corey about it a lot, and like I realized that we have a lot of the same like views on things, and we realized that the system is fucked up, and I don't know, like he opened my eyes to a lot of things that maybe I wouldn't have seen from a different perspective, and then like that would help me go on my own like research and like listen to other people's stories. So like I feel like since I've been with Corey, I'm constantly learning new things. And let's think of some more green flags. So a lot of times Corey, like if I say like that I'm sore, he will always offer to make a bath for me. And when he does, he puts a candle in there and he, like makes it all special, which is always super thoughtful. He's not really like on top of the gift giving, but that's all right. Like he doesn't have to be. I'm a terrible gift giver, like it's fine. What are some other green flags? So every time we drive on vacation, like if we have to drive to South Carolina, he'll drive the entire way. There and back. He won't let me drive. I think that's kind of cool. any silly thing that I've said that I wanted to do, he's always been supportive. You know? I want to start making YouTube videos. He's always been supportive of that. I don't think he watches my videos. I don't think he would want to. See, that's another thing that's completely different from my ex. Oh, another thing that just popped up in my mind. So, one more thing, toxic thing that my ex did that I just thought of. He had a passcode on his phone ever since we met. And he would never let me, like, see his phone for anything. Even if I was like, hey, can I look at your photos? No, I usually couldn't. I remember one time, I think he was in the shower, and his phone was upstairs, and I just had this really weird feeling. And I must have known the password or something, because I think I got on there. But he, like, caught me, or I don't think he caught me in the act, but he must have, like, you know how you can click the home screen or, like, the middle button, and then you can see, like, all the apps that you've used previously, and then, like, slide up, and then it gets rid of them. So I think he saw that, and that's how he knew that I looked at his phone. He freaked out. And ever since then, he would, like, change his password, and he would always do it in front of me, but, like, he'd make sure that I didn't know what it was. And it was just super freaking weird. Like, what are you hiding? Honestly, what was he hiding? And so, comparing that to my current fiance, he has never had a passcode on his phone. He's always leaving his phone out. I mean, like, there have been a couple times where I've been like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, see if there's anything. And, like, no, I don't have anything to worry about with Corey, you know? He's helped me stand up for myself when people are trying to walk all over me. So before I got on meds again, my hormones were all over the place, and I was just, like, crying all the time. And he would just sit with me on the couch and, like, rub my back or play with my hair, and he wouldn't even, like, say anything. And just, like, having him there was super helpful. I've never, ever, ever had anybody be, like, so gentle with me, and, like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, because I just feel like he gets me, you know? And having him in my life has definitely caused relationships with my sisters to I don't know, to shake up a little bit. But honestly, this is what we need. Like, we need to do our own work, and then we need to look at our own actions and, like, what we're telling people we love, and realize that we're not going to be here forever, you know? Like, just tell the truth, and like, if somebody is happy, let them be happy and be happy for them. And if you don't like their partner, that's fine. You don't have to like their partner. Just say hi. You don't have to have a conversation with them. Just be civil, you know? It's not that hard. So, yeah. I just feel really safe with Corey, and he's always looking out for me, and he respects me if I disagree about something, you know? So, yeah. That's my video. Talking about my toxic ex, comparing that relationship to the one that I'm in now. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. It's really personal, but I think it's really important to share, and I've wanted to share it on this channel for a while. So comment down below, send me a like, don't forget to subscribe. What are you doing? Come on. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later.